Greetings from Baltimore-Washington Conference's Discipleship Council. I'm Jessica Hayden, and am honored to serve as the chairperson of this team of dedicated, skilled servant leaders who seek to illuminate the power of perseverance. We are blessed to be a connectional church. No church is an island unto itself, but rather is connected in mission and ministry with other United Methodist churches, campus ministries, retreat and camping, and other entities. One structural aspect that the Baltimore-Washington Conference adopted in 2006 was the Discipleship Council, which serves some of the functions that a local church's church council plays. We take seriously our responsibility to ensure that conference resources align to its vision, mission, and critical issues as we discern, develop, review, and evaluate the strategic direction of the conference toward its vision and goals. As we shared with you at the last annual conference session, our goals for 2021 included, number one, alignment of discipleship agency work to the output of the Discipleship Ministries report. 2, at least 60 more churches are on a pathway toward racial justice. 3, annual conference leaders learn and are practicing interculturally competent behaviors for the creation of beloved community. And 4, create and share a clear dashboard of ministry vitality. We are grateful for the faithful work that has been done toward realizing these goals, and our report will share updates on progress made, as well as areas where we will continue to focus our attention in the upcoming year. The Discipleship Council continues to measure progress on board goals as related to the Discipleship Ministries report, which are essential to the mission of inspiring and equipping local faith communities to make disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. The development and implementation of the 2021 Discipleship Ministries report is the result of a 2-year process. Beginning with the 2019 church conference season, the pastor's report included questions regarding the congregation's commitment to racial justice, as well as questions regarding the congregation's development of an intentional discipleship process. During the 2020 church conference season, churches responded to these questions via the church profile. And last annual conference, we shared the results of the 2020 church profile form, which is typically completed by the SPRC and is not a report shared at church conference. In 2021, the questions were migrated to a new Discipleship Ministries report with additional questions added. The Discipleship Ministries report was seen by more church leaders as it was on the church conference agenda. The Discipleship Council celebrates the time and diligence that went into developing and implementing the Discipleship Ministries report. We also recognize the benefit of using this data to align the work of the discipleship boards and annual conference resources, to support the vitality of local churches, and tracking progress year over year to see if our activities and interventions are yielding fruit. All of this helps us to better live into our vision of more transformed lives, transforming lives. We also celebrate that over 90% of churches submitted their forms. We continue to reclaim our Wesleyan discipleship even as we respond to the changing ministry and social landscape. John Wesley's rule of discipleship provides a holistic understanding of discipleship: to witness to Jesus Christ in the world and to follow his teachings through acts of compassion, justice, worship, and devotion under the guidance of the Holy Spirit. Deepening discipleship continues to be at the heart of all that we do and is one of the 4 pillars of vitality. Within this context, churches were asked to rate each dimension by answering questions like members' witness to Jesus, often, more often than not, sometimes, rarely, or non-applicable. This chart stacks answers from most frequent to least frequent behaviors. Ideally, we'd like to see the combination of blue and red, representing most or many type answers, reach at least the 90% mark. Worship is just over this mark, with compassion almost there. The lightest color is NA, which sits at the very top of each stack. Thankfully, there were fewer NA responses across the discipleship dimensions, which suggests that more congregations are working to deepen discipleship through practicing the means of grace. We have had an intentional focus on increasing the spiritual discipline of justice, and we celebrate an increase in the number of churches that are engaging in the discipline of justice when compared with last year. The symbols at the top of the stack represent the lead board for analyzing and shepherding that data. Board chairs have expressed just how much overlap there is within the work of the boards and desire to work more collaboratively. It is difficult to deepen discipleship without an intentional discipleship process. This chart illustrates the status of local congregations in the development of an intentional discipleship process. In this year-over-year comparison, with blue representing 2020 responses and red representing 2021 responses, we celebrate the diminishing number of congregations without a plan, with an increase to 75% of our congregations either talking about it or implementing it. We celebrate this information as it affirms for us that in the midst of uncertain and challenging times within the life of our denomination, congregations within our annual conference are remaining focused on one of the core tenets of our faith, Wesleyan discipleship. We also recognize the need for supporting those congregations that have not yet implemented an intentional discipleship process. And this is being supported by both our Leadership Development Board and Congregational Vitality Pathways. Furthermore, it is important we continue to deepen discipleship to live into our commitments to the NEJ call to action and make real our United Methodist Constitution. Since its inclusion in the UMC Constitution in 1968, the United Methodist Church commits itself to the healing and wholeness of all persons, and the United Methodist Church shall confront and seek to eliminate racism, whether in organizations or in individuals, in every facet of its life and in society at large. For the second year, we invited congregations to tell us where the congregation is on the path toward racial justice. People could and did select more than one response. We thank God that 82% of our congregations are in agreement that we should be working toward racial justice, and we are praying for the 18% of our congregations that are wrestling with this. As you look at this slide, please note two things. One, the numbers above the blocks represent the answers of congregations in 2021. The answers from 2020 are in white text within the block. An up or down arrow indicates whether there was an increase or decrease from last year to this year. All aspects increase this year except those who aren't on a pathway. While we did not see at least 60 more churches on a pathway toward racial justice, which was our second goal for the year, we did see growth of those who were on the path. One of Discipleship Council's roles is to keep this on the dashboard, ensuring the conference is providing adequate support for congregations to do this work, and that the appropriate conference groups are helping lead and resource, and monitoring progress on the We Rise United project. We thank conference staff and the racial justice team for their consistent, diligent work for making this happen. We also thank lay and clergy leadership for your hopeful, brave faith and conversations that also support this work. This year, a new question set was added to gain information about the degree to which congregations are intentionally creating spaces of belonging and community. Congregations were invited to respond to questions regarding whether their demographics were reflective of the diversity of the surrounding community, whether young people were fully included in the life of the church, accessibility of the church building, and the inclusion of diverse cultural expression within the life of the church. The next slide captures the responses provided by congregations. We continue to analyze this data so we may better interpret and articulate its meaning, as well as address some inconsistencies in responses. For example, while more than 70% of our congregations report inclusive behavior regarding youth, more churches reported having no youth involved in the life of the congregation at all. The impact of COVID-19 is significant on young people's ministry, as families try to stay safe and young people may not be interested in engaging through more virtual activities. The picture for young adults seems even more dramatic, as the top 4 size groups have diminished significantly, and we see a rise in the number of young adults who have disconnected from the church. The Young People's Ministry Board and staff are responding to this trend, and they have made significant strides in connecting with many populations of young adults and creating spaces of belonging, expression, and innovation. Effectively measuring ministry vitality remains of critical importance. This year, we separated out some of the statements within this section to have a better sense of what is going on within our congregations. The highlighted rows are true year-over-year comparisons. We celebrate that 72.4% report that they are growing in their discipleship, and 62.1% report a growing number of people engaged. As Discipleship Council reviewed this data, we couldn't help but notice an increase in the percentage of churches with no professions of faith in the past 3 years. During our time of discussion and discernment around this data, robust conversations were had around the following aspects. That while there was a reported increase in churches experiencing decline, there was also a 34% increase in churches reporting a sense of hope that their current initiatives will bear fruit. Discipleship Council members acknowledged how hopeful and powerful this is during these challenging times. We celebrate and are grateful that churches and ministries are willing to try new things. We also acknowledge the opportunity that this provides the Discipleship Council to resource our discipleship agencies as they continue to support, equip, and walk alongside congregations that are taking risks and envisioning new ways to engage in impactful ministry. Our third goal is that annual conference leaders learn and are practicing interculturally competent behaviors for the creation of beloved community, so that by 2026, 100% of our churches are doing work to grow in practicing interculturally competent behaviors needed for beloved community throughout the conference. We are pleased to report that progress is being made toward this goal, as you will hear in the We Rise United report. The 8-session Journey to Beloved Community course is structured around the Intercultural Maturity Covenant to create beloved community. Not only will it be used to orient new leaders and staff, but will also be available for local churches to use as an 8-week study. In conclusion, we hope that reflecting back the data from the Discipleship Ministries report, aligning the work of the discipleship agencies to improve those scores, all result in a clear, shared dashboard of where we are and what our priorities should be that illuminate hope and work for our future. We are excited to see how our Episcopal leaders' vision of 100% of our churches operating at 100% vitality provides a simplified dashboard that might be used to report both information from the Discipleship Ministries report, board activity, and the major initiatives of the conference. We will continue reporting on these goal areas in the coming years. This concludes the report of the Discipleship Council. Thank you, Bishop Easterling and members of the annual conference.